worries. Alrighty, guys. As I was saying, thanks everybody for joining. Today it's all about EOI invites for 189 and 190. I have Kunal and Usman. They are registered migration agents. One is based in, another one is in Sydney with me, myself, Jayant. I'm the team lead admissions here. Housekeeping, if you have any questions, please message for us in the chat box. We will take those questions at the end of this presentation. All right, Kunal and Usman, can we start now?
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
So yeah, that's basic details we have already introduced. Myself, I've got Mr. Kunal Uberoy and Mr. Usman Obaid Syed. All right, a bit of a disclaimer. And from here, I would hand over to Kunal to take over and he can take the presentation forward.
Perfect, thank you. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Migration Updates. EOI invites for 189 and 190. Before we go any further, like the way my colleagues introduced, my name is Kunal Uberoy. I'm one of the registered migration agent here at the APG branch in Melbourne with my MARA number 2217721. Now, before we go any further, I would like to make a quick disclaimer that all the advice that we provide you today, it's just for information purposes. We highly recommend you taking professional advice in relation to migration related to your own personal matters, because there's no one shoe fits all approach in migration. All right, so let's get started. So, as we have noticed that in December last year, we received around 35,000 invitations for 189, which is a skilled independent, right? Let's just, all right. So we have received around 35,000 invitations for 189 and then followed by invites for Victoria and New South Wales 190. So we would be discussing about those today.
Hello?
Kunal, I think you just got muted.
Kunal, can you just unmute yourself?
All right. Is it better now? Abavi, can we please get you to mute yourself, darling?
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So GSM, guys, as to what's GSM? So we are talking about the general skilled migration visas. So there are three separate categories of visas that fall under this GSM process. 491 visa, again, which is a skilled work regional, which is provisional in nature, and then it's assigned to you for or granted for a period of 5 years. 3 years of living and working in the regional area, you get eligible to lodge your 191, I mean, which is a PR. Then you've got the 190 visa, which is again, it's a state nominated, but it's a direct PR. And then lastly, we have got the skilled independent visas, and we have seen lots floodgates open up for skilled independent, which is 189. So all the points needs to be your own. State does not sponsor you, or you do not get any points for 189 visa. Let's move on to the next slide, please, Jayant. All right, so again, let's talk very basically as to what's the process for 190 and 491, and I'll cover up 189 as well. So again, all you got to do is put in your expression of interest on the Skill Select website. After that, once you have done it, it will give you an unique identifying ID, which is called an EOI ID number. You use that in order to lodge your ROI, which is also called registration of interest on the Live in Melbourne for us, and New South Wales will be a different website. I think you don't even have a requirement for an ROI for New South Wales, which is better. Then we've got a nomination application, and once that's approved, the final process or the stage is a visa application. So for 189, Again, there is no step number 2 or 3. So all you do is you lodge your expression of interest. If the state is happy with your proposition, they invite you straight for the visa. So the onus is on you to make sure that all the points that you have claimed in your EOI are still valid and up to date. All right, let's move on to the next slide. We will quickly cover the registration of interest requirements. Now, 190 and 491. So again, if you are doing it for Victoria, you need to be living and working anywhere in Victoria for 190. You must be working in a skill level 1, 2, or 3. You must have at least competent English, which is 6 each in IELTS or equivalent. Must have a valid skill assessment. Like we all know, without a positive skill assessment, there is no way you can lodge your expression of interest. Well, recently the department has said, or the state has said, even if you do not have a job, but you've got outstanding GSM points, you can still apply. And lastly, if you lodge your 190, the state offers you 5 points. For 491, which is provisional in nature, but 3 years later, you do get qualified for the PR under 191, you must be living and working in a regional Victoria. So you could be there for 4 weeks because that's the only time frame we need, or your pay slips for 4 weeks before you become eligible to lodge your EOI under 491. Again, you must be working in a skill level 1, 2, or 3 job. Let's say, for example, you've got an outcome of accountant. I know, which is quite hard to get an invitation into accounting. But if you go and you're not working as an accountant, but even if you go and live in a regional area, let's say, for example, Geelong, argument's sake, but you're working as a chef, you are still eligible to lodge your EOI with the state in Victoria, right? So again, at least 6 each in IELTS or equivalent, must have a valid skill assessment. So, and in this case, the state will offer you 15 points. All right. Moving on to the next slide, please, Jayant. So skill level 1, 2, or 3. So we hear all the time as to what is a skill level 1, 2, or 3. So the best way to look it up is go onto the ABS. Vilash, kindly put yourself on hold or on mute, my dear.
I already did.
Thank you. Skill level 1, 2, or 3, the easiest way, guys, is to go onto abs.gov.au, type in your occupation. It will tell you what skill category or what skill level does that sit under. In case you have more, feel free to give us a buzz and we can always help you out. Next slide. If I'm rushing through a little and you guys feel that I need to slow down, kindly put that in the comments box and I would be more than happy to. It's just that I'm trying to wrap up Victoria in the first 15-20 minutes, followed by Sydney, in which Usman will take over. And then for half an hour, we're planning to do the question answers. So I hope it's all right with everyone. So requirements for Victoria ROI, again, we have already covered working in a skill level 1, 2, 3, salary slips, preferably 4 weeks salary, right? Employment contract, and for 190 visa, even if you do not have a job, but you've still got outstanding points, you still qualify, right? Again, I think this is a pretty standard requirement. You cannot be more than 45 if you want to go down GSM pathway. Your English must be 6 and above, and you must have a valid skill assessment. All right, let's move on to the next slide, please, Jayant. Way out for skill level 1, 2, or 3. So we get this question quite a lot of times. People saying, oh, well, I'm an accountant, but I didn't manage to find a job as an accountant. So I've been offered a role of accounts payable. How do I then lodge my EOI? So because accounts payable is a skill level 4, so technically you're not eligible. So the way around that is if you speak to your employer and they manage to give you the job of a bookkeeper, which still falls within category 3, which is in level 1, 2, or 3, we can get away and we can still lodge your EOI based with using your accounting skill assessment and your job as a bookkeeper. Similarly, IT or ICT graduates with skill assessment, they don't have a job in the nominated or related occupation. Even if they find a job as a support technician, which is a pretty basic level, they can get away and we can then lodge their EOIs. Very popular question, is truck driver or Uber driver eligible? Unfortunately, the answer is no, because they fall in a skill level 4. Cooks, chefs, yeah, absolutely. They're holding the top spots here in Victoria. So if you are a cook or a chef, 100% you will be invited. All right, we'll move on to the next slide. So is this, Jayant, sorry, is the next slide for 189 invite for ICT, or is it now a different slide? All right, so maybe I'll get my colleague Usman to take over. Jayant, what do you want me to do, Matt? Do you want me to cover up Victoria? And then...
I would say, I think you should go with the invitation round first.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, perfect. So I'll carry on then.
Slide with number 17, yes.
Yeah, perfect. So 189 invitations. So what we have noticed is most of the people sitting in ICT occupations or skill assessed under that have managed to get invites under 85 points for independent skill, independent visas, which is 189. There are a few like analyst programmer, computer network and systems engineer who have still got them under 90, but mostly lots of people have got it under 85. So 85 to 90 is the range for ICT professionals in order to get their invites for direct PR, which is 189. Engineers, which is the next slide. Engineers are pretty much the same with the exception of civil engineers, which are very high in demand. So civil engineer, or rather civil engineering technicians have got their 189 under 70 points. Rest everyone sitting under the same range, anywhere from 85 to 90, you are eligible to get a 189 straight away. The third one we've got, the third category is the trade occupations. So under the trade guys, as you all know, we have got chefs, cook, carpenter, motor mechanic, metal fabricators, painters, panel beater, and construction project managers. So most of these people have managed to get 189 invites, anywhere from 65 to 80 points. Mostly I would say 65 to 75 is the range that if you are sitting in between this range, you're most likely gonna get an invitation for 189. Lastly, accountants. Well, I think I've got a few more after accountants, so sorry, not the last one. So accountants, we have got 189 and even 190, I wouldn't say 190, 189 invites for 85 for an accountant general. And if it's an external auditor onshore, they've got it under 75 points. When we talk about the healthcare professionals, like chemists, occupational therapists, registered nurses, you can see that they have been receiving it at various points. 85 is for chemists, occupational therapists is 70, and RN or registered nurses have been quite lucky as they have only got it under 65 points. And then finally, lastly, again, it's a mixed bag of occupations which are quite general in nature. I would say actuary, architect, chemist, dancers, food technologist, quantity surveyors, and university lecturers. We have mentioned the points under which they have got their invites for 189. So in a nutshell, talking about the invitation rounds, if you are professionals, then I would suggest have your points anywhere from 85 to 90, whereas if you are under trade, 65 and above is good enough. So please come and see us. If you do you know that you're sitting at these many points, and we'd be more than glad to assist you in lodging EOI and ROI for 189 and 190. Again, very quickly, I'll take you through the last slide for Victoria State Sponsorship Program Review. The department has taken that off, so we have not got an updated review on the program, but the review still goes back till September 2022. So nearly 9,000 places were allocated to Victoria. The department received twice the number of ROIs, of which nominations given have been nearly 1,100, and the applications refused are 82. And that's for 190. For 491, I think here it's pretty much the same. Jayant, have you managed to find that slide? I think it's...
Excuse me, sir.
Sorry, you've gone.
I think, Kunal, I'm able to find that slide, but you can keep on reading. I think everybody is still...
That's fine. That's all right. And 491, again, the places allocated to Victoria. Bilash, can you kindly put yourself on mute, my friend? Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Total places allocated to Victoria were 2,400 for 491, which is state nominated program regional. ROIs received was 6,000. The nominations that they gave out till date were only 100 or 150, and the applications refused so far are around 50 applications refused. So that, in nutshell, was the program or GSM program for Victoria for 189, 190, and I've touched base a little on 491 as well. So thank you very much. That was for Victoria. I will now hand over to my colleague who will discuss about the New South Wales. Over to you, Usman. Thank you.
All right. So first of all, thank you everyone for joining us. And secondly, we'll try to keep it simple because I think a lot of you have been with us for I think in other webinars as well. So I think you're aware of a lot of things. So for the new people, I'll just go with the basics, and then the goal is basically today we'll try to answer as many questions we can towards the end of it, so we can see because I think I'm already seeing quite a bit of messages and a lot of questions. So we'll try to keep it basically focused towards the questions as well. Okay. So first of all, so regarding NSW, so the NSW has been pretty active, and especially since the 8th of December round, NSW changed the requirement on the 9th of December, the same next day, regarding their experience requirement. So what they've done is they removed the experience and the points criteria. So for the 190 visa, you do not need any kind of minimum number of experience or minimum number of points to be invited. So that's a very big basically advantage we have now. Okay, so let's move to the next slide, Jeff.
1 second, Usman.
Yes. So so basically this is regarding now. Also 491, even though it is getting less attention right now, but 491 is still available in NSW. But obviously, because the number of invitations we are receiving for the 189 and 190 is so large that people are not very interested in the 491 at this point. Maybe in the next couple of months it will be very active, but for now it's taking a back seat. But for your knowledge, we still have to cover this. So basically, for the 491, the first thing you have to understand is there are two main pathways, pathway 1 and pathway 2. And within pathway 1, there's further two pathways that the RDS can invite you on. So the first, if you look at the pathway 1, so this is through the Regional Development Australia. So these are the regional, basically, think of it like regional offices. There are 14 of these in NSW, and they're the ones who will invite you. So now they have done two pathways. They can invite you to pathways, A or B. Now with A, you have to be working for a single employer in your own occupation for past 12 months, and then you'll be eligible to apply for the 491. The pathway B means that you are needed in the regional area. So what they've done is basically they've put in the experience and the points requirements, which are not very hard, not too tough to meet, to be honest with you. But if you meet those criteria, then you can apply with stream B. Now this is through the RDA. Now also at the same time, the state government can invite you directly for the regional area. What they've done is basically they are inviting directly as well, which is pathway to investment NSW. And investment NSW name sounds a little confusing, but investment NSW is basically the department within NSW government, which is responsible of inviting people on basically for the 491 and the 190 both. So they also invite you directly for the 491. Now what they've done is basically, if you are in the occupation list, and there's a separate occupation list for that, and the good thing is there's no minimum experience or points requirement for that, so you can still be invited based on that. So that's also a very good pathway, and people are getting a lot of invites. So the good thing is for pathway 2 especially, you don't need to be living there, don't need to be working there, you can be applying while living in Sydney, and you can still get the invitation, right? So that's pretty positive. Now let's move to the next slide. So obviously with NSW, unlike Victoria or South Australia, other states, NSW is generally quite simplistic in their approach. They want one or two main things, such as points or experience, or generally the way they invite you is quite simple. Now, so generally we look at their mood, what kind of occupation they're looking for, what kind of occupations they are aiming for at the moment, because even though your occupation, you might be the best applicant in your occupation, but they might not be looking for that occupation at this point in time. So that's why also sometimes people get demotivated, but nothing to worry about. It's just one of those things that you can basically ride it out. So it might, if you don't get invited in this month, you might get invited next month. So the good thing is with NSW, they have regular invitations every month. So even if you look at the basically the remaining invitation rounds, they still have 5 rounds to go. Okay, so that makes a lot of things simpler for you in that regard, because you know that you have 5 rounds to go, so you can still aim for it. Now, the last round we had on 10th of January, we had a couple of invitations. Basically that it's interesting to discuss about, because these were invited. Now we had a lot of clients in business analyst roles, systems analyst, developer programmer, but they did not get the invitation. But only few particular occupations within the IT department got the invitation. Like for example, computer network system engineer, we had a client in 100 points, he got the invitation. But and we had people that below this as well, but they did not get the invitation. So it means that for CNSC, there's still a lot of supply within NSW. So there still is taking a bit of 100 points, meaning 95 points of your own and 5 points from the state, right? So all these points include state points. So this is for CNSC. For software and applications programmers. Now, again, this is not a group. This is an occupation on its own. Okay, so a lot of people get confused. This is not a developer program, it's not an NS program, it's a different occupation within that group. So it's called software and application programmer, and it's one particular occupation only. And people got invited at 90 points. Mathematician, statistician, they also got invited 80 points, meaning 75 points of their own and 5 from the state. Same goes with university lecturer, 80 points of their own, 5 from the state. Chef, 75 plus 5 got invited. RNs, see, with registered, you know, it's one of the highly let's say one of the most high demand occupations at the moment in Australia, and it has been so for the last 5 to 6 years. So you know, RNs will get the invitation. They might have to wait a little bit, but they'll eventually get the 1810 or 190. So for a lot of RNs who compromise for the 491, I would recommend you should show some patience. You will get the invitation. It's just that if you're putting the file properly, right, in the right way, with the right documentation, you can get the invitation a lot quickly, but you just have to do it properly. That's one thing. So RNs at 65 points, 75 points also get the invitation. Early childhood teacher. Now, early childhood teacher is very interesting because that's again, teachers are again one of the best occupations. So there's certain occupations which we'll discuss later are one of the best occupations for PR. Even the people who are looking forward to study something or want to, or let's say they don't have much hope in their own occupation group, so they want to change, they want to switch to a new career, or they want to switch to something which is more PR ready, or something which will help them get the PR in a much simpler manner. So this is one of the occupations to look out for, early childhood teaching. But then again, there's a lot of rumors in the market, and there are a lot of things people are advertising. So when we say early childhood teacher, we're talking about the teacher, not the childcare center manager, not the childcare worker, not the team lead, teacher. So there's a big difference, right? So teaching, you have to go through AITSL. Okay, not ACEC, QA, etc. You don't have to go through that. So the different bodies, different occupations, different advantages. So we have to be very careful because a lot of people are doing diploma of childcare and assuming that they will get early childhood teacher, which is not exactly true. So we have to be very careful. What kind of study are you doing? Right? Just because it sounds similar, it doesn't mean it is similar. So that's why I always recommend, before you make your final decision, before you make some final call in regards to what you're doing or what you're studying, make sure you choose the right firm, the right people, the right consultant to guide you to the right course. Right? So that's one thing. So so that's from the NSW side. I think let's move to the next slide. So yeah, so now I think on that basically line of thought, I think the best thing would be Mr. Jayant can give you explanation about, based on the information you received, he can tell you some of the main courses, the best courses you can do in Australia, which can help you get the PR in a much simpler manner, right? So so the goal is basically making it simple for you, because obviously you heard about the 189, you heard about the 190, Victoria, and it's two major states, the biggest stakeholders in Australian migration. But it's also good to hear about what to do, what's the actionable point. So this is one of the actionable points you can go through. And after this, we'll go to questions and answers. Obviously, we can't answer every question, but obviously we'll try to take it as much as possible. I think Kunal and I will try to make sure we are there till the end. And even Jayant, if you have any question related to student visa, student dependent, or stuff like that, Mr. Jayant is also there. So we all there for so we'll all be able to assist you. Okay. So Mr. Jayant, you can take over.
Thank you, Usman. Thank you, Kunal, for your time. That was really informative. Thanks, everyone, for listening so far. I won't take much of your time in terms of the courses which are really popular in Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Perth. You name the major cities. These are the popular courses which everybody wants to do or they are currently enrolled in. Whether you be on a student visa or a 485 visa, you have done a bachelor's degree and you do not have a pathway in Australia, as our migration agents have advised, depending on the different occupations they have already discussed. These are the popular courses which you can do in your own states, or if you're willing to relocate to different locations, these are hot courses for 2023 so far. The first one, which is the most important one, I think Kunal and Usman both will agree, is Graduate Diploma of Early Childhood, which is a one-year program in Victoria. You need 788 to get into this course. If, for example, somebody has already done a bachelor's degree in Australia, then English is exempt for them to take admission. And then if you do 4 years of qualification of this course, of your higher education in Australia, then you do not need English requirements to get your skills assessment from the assessing authority. And once you finish this one-year program, you become an early childhood teacher. This course is majorly available only in Melbourne, Victoria. Moving on, Advanced Diploma in Civil Construction Design. This is a popular course as well, where you learn about AutoCAD. It's a 2 years program. The occupation output is civil draftsperson. Most of the courses, we are talking the Advanced Diploma and the diplomas, they are less than $20,000 for 2 years. Diploma of Community Services, a lot of people that are already working in aged care as an AIN or a support worker. If you formalize your work experience and you want to have a formal qualification, then you go into a Diploma of Community Services and you become a community worker after 2 years. We do have a lot of colleges which are directly accredited with ACWA, and then once you finish your qualification with 7 each, you can become a community worker in Australia. Next one is Advanced Diploma of IT in Telecommunication. Now, once you finish this course, you can go into a telecommunications line. Usman, just to confirm, what is the output of this occupation, if you don't mind?
Which one?
The telecommunications, Advanced Diploma IT.
Telecom network planner. So there are 2-3 occupations, but the main occupation is telecom network planner. It's a long-term occupation, so you can, if someone's doing that for the first time, they can even get the 485 visa for this one. So it's one of those good occupations. Yeah.
Thanks, Usman.
Yes.
Okay, Diploma of Nursing, everybody wants to do it. It's 1.5 years, you become an enrolled nurse in Australia. Bachelor's and Masters of Social Work is yet another pathway which you can study. It is from 2 years to 4 years, depending what sort of level of qualification you are doing. And it is majorly available in all the states. You become a social worker in Australia bachelor's and master's of teaching, again 2 years to 4 years, and you become a student teacher. One occupation which I have not added here is, of course, the bachelor's or the master's of nursing, which is a 2 years or a 4 years program, which will help you become a registered nurse in Australia. As Usman mentioned, that one of the popular occupations nurse is RN, NEC. Okay, so you can study the nursing course as a bachelor's or a master's program and become a RN in Australia. Now, to conclude everything from my end, most of these popular courses, they come with scholarship. We have providers who are offering scholarship of up to 30%. So in case you want to discuss this with us, I have already shared all the details about our offices where we are. So feel free to get in touch with them, because the advice which has been given so far by a migration agent generic in nature. Okay, this may vary from case to case. If you want to discuss your case, you're in Sydney, you're in Melbourne, you are in Adelaide, you just go make an appointment with the migration agents and you can discuss your case face to face. And I'm sure we have a very strong migration and education team who can give you a very strong pathway in Australia. So that is all from my side. Now I would be going forward with the question and answer session. So both with Usman as well as with Kunal. Just wanted to check with both of you. You want me to start putting the questions across, or you want to read it from the chat box, Usman and Kunal?
Yeah. I think, Kunal, I think you go first with the Victoria, because I think there are quite a bit of questions from Victorian clients of ours. So please just talk. I think you can pick up some questions from there. So I think, Jen, you can help him.
Perfect.
Start with it.
Jayant, is it okay if I kindly get you to read out the questions and then I'll start answering them one after the other?
Yes, I will. I'm just going to go scroll my messages all the way up, because there are a lot of messages which I have received.
Cool, thank you.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, the first question is from Donna. Is 190 for 2 years only?
Now, Donna, 190 is not for 2 years. 190 is a PR, so you get given a PR visa, which again you will have to renew after every 5 years. All you renew is the travel authority, but it is permanent in nature. If you take out 190 in Victoria, there is a legal obligation that you must stay in Victoria for a period of 2 years. So I'm not sure if you're trying to, confuse that with the grant period, but 190 is a direct permanent residency. Hope that helps. Perfect.
Next question is from Mujibur Rahman. Does Victoria will check current visa type? Let's say my company is in India and I'm working remotely in from Victoria regional, and provide the payslip for 4 weeks while staying on a visitor visa.
Does Victoria check your correct visa type? Let me say my company is India and I'm working remotely from Victoria regional and provide the payslips for 4 weeks while staying on visitor visa. Mujib, I'm sorry, but that does not make any sense to me. Can you kindly give me a call? And I would want to discuss that with you in person rather than doing it here, if that's okay.
Can I just explain you very quick, if that's okay?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so basically what I'm trying to say is I want to stay in Victoria for the purpose of 491 invitation.
Yep.
Can I stay there on visitor visa for 4 weeks while my company is allow me to work remotely? So I'm employed somewhere else, but I'm working from Victoria on a visitor visa for 4 weeks.
No, you cannot be employed elsewhere. There should be a physical presence of the company that you are working for in the regional Victoria. So you must be living and working for regional Victoria, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
It doesn't matter on the visitor visa or non-visitor visa or any 485, but as long as you are living and working in the regional Victoria, we need 4 pay slips. You'll be qualifying to lodge your Victoria 491 EOI.
Right, cool. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
All righty. Next, move on to the next one from Shahid. I have overseas bachelor in forestry. Degree assessment done from Australian Education Department. How can I do skill assessment, please?
No problem, Shahid. We can help you with the skill assessment. I believe that will be done with VetAssess. So please feel free to give us a call and I'll be more than happy to discuss your circumstances, and then we can assist you with the assessment as well.
All right, Ali Bayani is saying, how much estimated waiting period for EOIs under ICT occupation at 85 points?
Ali, you're one of my clients. You could ring me directly to check that. I think, again, how much estimated waiting? Again, it's the question is how long is the piece of string? Does anyone have an answer? No. So it's totally based on your luck as well. But the way we are anticipating, if you are sitting at 85 points, hopefully you should get an invite in February or March. Fingers crossed. Okay, hope that helps, Ali. I'll take it up offline as well with you.
Okay, another one from Mohit Rahman. Can we put ROI for Victoria 190 and once invited, move to Victoria?
Not recommended, Mohit. We want you to be living in Victoria at the time of you lodging in your EOI and ROI. I know that there is no requirement for a job at the moment for an ROI in Victoria, but it's definitely recommended that you live in Victoria at the time of lodging your EOI and ROI.
So Malik is asking, what about offshore applicants? Any chance for them to be invited for Victoria?
We have had lots of applications for offshore people, and in fact, onshore people find it a bit, of a disparity that they're saying, why are offshore candidates being applied at lesser points than what we are being applied for? So it'd be shocked or in fact happy in a way to hear that offshore applicants are invited at lower points than the applicants here in Australia. So definitely there are chances. Kindly lodge your EOI and then you never know. You might be the...
Siraj is asking, I have done painting and decorating and I also have skills assessment ready with me. How many points do I need to apply for 190 or 189?
Have we missed Saurabh's question there, Jayant?
No, I asked, what about offshore applicants?
Offshore. Oh, yes, sorry. Yep, I'm not able to see that.
Right, Govind's question, I think we already covered them during your slide.
Okay, perfect.
Mohit has got another question, but because we have already answered one of the questions,
Sure.
moving on to the other applicant, like other person who has sent the question.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
All right, so we're moving over to Siraj's question. I've done painting and decorating and also have skill assessment ready with me. How many points do I need to apply 190 or 189? Siraj, you should be able to get an invite for 65 points. So if you do sit at 65 points of your own, you will get 189. And then for 190, well, I would believe somewhere around 80 or 85. So do come in and see us. We can lodge your EOI. We can take in both the options, 189 as well as 190 on the EOI. And then let's see in which one do you get the invite first? And we can take it from there.
All right. We'll go from Mr. or Mrs. or Miss iPhone. I am based in NSW. Can I file an EOI for Victoria as an offshore applicant?
If based in New South Wales, can we file an EOI for Victoria as an offshore applicant? Unfortunately not. Offshore means out of Australia, not out of Victoria. So you'll have to be out of the country to be considered offshore in nature.
All right. I'm skipping Kanika's question because she just mentioned what about social workers. So I'm not too sure what is the context of this question.
That's right, Kanika, please feel free to give us a call. I'm happy to provide you consultation and then we can do it. We can do it, take it from there. All right.
Sorry, I just replied to my question. If they could just go to the reply, that's my full question. I'm sorry about that.
But that's okay. While you are already unmuted yourself, just go ahead and ask your question.
Oh, thank you so much. I just wanted to ask that I just did my master's in social work and got a job as an intake and case coordinator. I wasn't sure if it's skill level 1, 2, 3. So I just wanted to ask if it's considered and also how much experience I need.
Kalik, have you got a skill assessment yet?
My IELTS is due, so I have to do my IELTS first and
Correct.
then I'll get my skill assessment, which is due in like 1 week. Yeah.
Perfect. That's great. So what I would advise, the next thing I would advise you to do is mental health. Go onto the abs.gov.au website and try to look up this designation and then see if you are doing the duties which are mentioned in there. So as long as you're doing around 60 to 70% of those duties, then it's fine. It is closely related to your occupation. And it will even tell you as to what skill level is that designation sitting in or under. Okay, and if in case you still struggle, no issues. I'm here in the Melbourne office. Please feel free to give me a call and I'll be more than happy to help you out.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Good luck.
All right. Roselle is asking, I'm a nursing graduate, but work as a caregiver. Am I qualified?
Roselle, lots of questions that we'll have to ask you. Are you an enrolled nurse? Are you a registered nurse? Right. So caregivers is not a, I mean, it's generally, I mean, Roselle, give me a call. Give me a call, Roselle. This doesn't give me anything. So I need to get into the depth of it before giving you an answer.
I
Okay.
just want to add one more thing, Kunal. Now, based on whichever state you are in, NSW or Victoria, okay, feel free to reach out to our offices. So our migration agent can understand your query or your situation well, and they can advise you tailored as per whatever is required. So
Right.
if you're unable to answer your question right here, please feel free to reach out to us, call us, email us, or visit us in person.
Yeah. Perfect.
Right. I've got a direct message from Ishita. What about socialist worker? Is there, no, that's the question. So I'm not too sure how.
She meant social worker, probably.
Yes,
You mean
yes.
social.
Socialist worker, yeah. So I think Kunal has already covered that part. Usman, you want to add something over here for the socialist worker or social worker?
It depends what perspective she's asking from, but if she's asking in terms of the points, just about that part, then I think it's one of the best occupations. 65 points already got invited for the 189,
Yep.
and even for the 190, NSW has a long history for the last couple of years, always 85 points, more or less. You have 80, 85 points of your own, you can get the invitation. And
Okay.
usually social workers can easily get that, easily.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
I've got a direct question, so that's what I'm going to put because they are still in over there. So while lodging 189 EOI, do we need to add our nominated occupation, education, and experience, or we can add other work experience, education as well?
Is that to me?
No, they send it directly to me. So Kunal, I'm not too sure if you
Okay. While lodging 189 EOI, do we need to add our nominated occupation, education, and experience, or can we add other work experience and education as well? No, well, you can, but then why would you, Salima? I mean, you can if you would like. Let's say, for example, you've done your bachelor's in, engineering, but master's in IT. Yes, it's a great practice. You can always tell them that you're a bachelor's of engineering and you've done your master's in IT. No issues at all. The more information you give them, the better it is. But again, it needs to be relevant information. They won't.
Okay, so I just want to clarify my background. So I have done BSc and after that I have done Masters in Health Policy and Management. For about 4 years, I did registered nursing bedside practice, and for last 4 years, I'm in research. So should I add all my work experience and all my education like bachelor's and master's and EOI? Is
Yes,
that
please.
okay?
Yes, please, you should.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, no problem, all good.
From Bijoy Josh, like Victoria ROI, any other state requires separate interest request in addition to EOI?
Bijoy, there are a few states that do, whereas there are others like New South Wales which doesn't. So yeah, depends where you want to go. Where are you at the moment is a good question for you. So if you are in Victoria, then yes, you will need EOI and ROI. I'm not sure as to if that's what you mean, or I don't know why did you ask that question? Okay,
I've got Devendra. I think Usman, this question is for you. System analyst for NSW at 90, 85 plus 5 for NSW and 80 points for 189. What are the chances?
Pretty high. Not so much for the 189, but definitely for the for 190 NSW is pretty solid because 85 plus 5 already had the invitations in December. So I think it's a very solid chance. Yeah.
Okay, I've got Mehul Patel. He's asking for ICT SA occupation for 80 points. He's at 189, 85 for 190 NSW. What would you think for the next round would be? Am I eligible? And what's your insight for this?
Okay, I think you wrote the occupation wrong. ICT is either ICT business analyst or system analyst. System analyst, don't know ICT attached to it, but whichever it is, the same group. 80 for 189 is going to be tough, very tough, unless they have a round similar to the one we had before, which is like 35,000 or 20,000 or something. yes, then you can get invited for the 189 at 80. Otherwise, it's going to be very, very tough, very, very tough. So for the 190, see, remember one thing, there's a lot of people still in NSW who are at 85 points. So for it to go to 80 points, it's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. It's not going to be right away.
Okay, I've got a very simple question from April. I'm on a student visa. If I lodge 190 visa, it won't affect my visa, and will my school know about it?
Not at all. Not at all. So basically, the school will not know about it, but even if you tell them, they can't do anything about it anyway, because you are applying for 190 visa, which you're legal right to. So there's nothing wrong with that. So you're not committing any kind of crime. No, nothing wrong with that. Do it confidently.
Mhm. Usman, next one for you. I'm a bookkeeper and I have accounting degree in India, and I have to complete 2 subjects with CPA for my degree assessment. But I have recently changed my job, and with this current employment I joined 2 months ago, I have 3.5 years of experience as a bookkeeper in Australia. Am I eligible to apply 189 visa following the pathway? I'm residing currently in NSW.
So, okay. So first of all, we have to see how many points here, because the bookkeeping experience is not going to help you, because bookkeeping is a bit too junior level for an accountant general occupation. So the only occupation you can go for is either accountant general and taxation, management, and other accountants. You need to have a specific work, right? So for accountant general, you can try, but bookkeeper is generally not accepted by the CPA, IP, or CA, whichever body you go for. So they would accept it. So the only way it can really work is basically if you have 85 plus points, then yes, it can work, because 189 came through. But then again, we don't know if this will continue. Remember one thing, because yes, a lot of accountants got lucky, a lot of occupations got lucky with 85 points, but because of that, a lot of people have come into the queue. A lot of 95 points have come into the queue because of that. So that's why, even if they have invitation now, a lot of people who were kind of sleeping, who were being, let's say, didn't bother or were demotivated, they have activated their EOS again. So it is going to be tough. It's not going to be walk in a park again, like, so that's one thing. And secondly, you also have to expect that 189 will continue inviting the same numbers, which is very unlikely, right? So that's also something you need to consider.
Hey, hi. Sorry if I can ask you. I'm Sangeeta. I just asked this bookkeeper question. I have another question. Sorry, my husband he crossed 45 above 45, but we came to Australia before 7 years. We came in 457 visa, and then we transferred to 482 visa. Just wanted to know about that grandfathering visa option.
Grandfathering, see, that depends on your. I think you're a little too late for that. Like, that is still possible, but your husband, which occupation is he on?
Hi, sorry.
Hi, I'm in IT. I'm in cloud. I'm looking after cloud.
Okay. So first of all, okay, so here's the thing. There are two elements to it. Number one, if you were the main applicant for the 457 visa, you can do that. But then again, we have to see the dates. So that's something I would say we have to talk in a lot of details for that. I think this is not the right place for it, but I just give you a simple idea that it can be done, but we have to be very particular about the dates. And also, if you're above 45, the problem is there's very like the visa is called 186 TRT, temporary in transition. That visa can only be applied after 45 years of age if you meet the fair work high income threshold, which is I think for the exact amount, but it's like 165 plus. So that's something you have to consider. So but again, this is a very specific question, so I have to have the numbers, dates, everything in front of me to assist you probably. That's only, I don't want to give you the half advice or the wrong advice. That's why I'd rather sit with you and discuss. Just one of those.
Sure, thanks.
Yeah,
All right,
thank you.
No worries. You're welcome.
Kunal, next one's for you. Any chance for university lecturer 190 Victoria without a job, 70 plus 5 points, or 70 points on 189 onshore applicant?
Naman, 75 points for 189. So please see if you can improve your points by at least 5. Then you will definitely be invited under 189. 190 university lecturer without a job at 75 points. I actually am not very positive about, to be honest with you. Try to see if you can improve your scores. And then definitely, even if you get 5 extra, you would go straight under 189. And I can promise you, you will be invited in February or March. So good luck with that.
Ajay, I think you are on silent, like mute, sorry.
Sorry. My bad. Okay, next question is for both of you. Salman says, can you please consider chances for electronics engineer 189 or 190, Victoria and NSW with 80 or 85 points? He's offshore.
Absolutely. Electronics engineer is very popular and high in demand. So for 189 as well as 190, it's a very good occupation. And with 85 points, the prospects of success are very, very high. So kindly do lodge in your EOIs and ROI, and you never know, you'll be invited in the next round. So yeah, definitely go ahead with it.
All righty. Usman, can you, is that different to NSW?
I think even NSW, you can get invited. That's not a problem. See, the thing is, right now with 85 point already electronics engineers have been invited. So we already, and I had a, I put the exact date, but I had a client applied literally 1 or 2 months before the round, and she already got invited. So
yes,
it's the game is on. The main thing is obviously if you're on the lower end of the point, like 85 is good, but obviously they have invitation, but there's still a queue. The lower the points in, the larger queue. It's like a pyramid. You're like the higher the points, the less competition you have. So that will always make a difference. But 85 is definitely possible. NSW or 189, both easily possible.
So I've got next question. Stream B is also for offshore applicants.
Stream, yes. So I think so. Oh yeah, 491. Yeah, 491 offshore is available. Yes. But then it's not. By the way, just letting you know, it shouldn't be. You have to be offshore for a couple of months. It should not be just like just move, because a lot of people think that they will go back to home country for a visit, attend their sister's wedding, and they'll apply the offshore applicant. You're not an offshore applicant. You have to be there for at least 3 months or 6 months. So so you have to be careful. Yeah.
Okay. Usman, next one I think is for you. Please advise what investment required to have immigration in NSW and required time, please.
Oh, okay, investment. Okay, so that depends on a couple of factors, because in NSW 188 visa, which is called business visa, it is available, but the amount depends on whether you're applying in basically investing or intend to invest in regional NSW or metro NSW. If you're applying in metro NSW, I'll have to check the exact amount, but it's around $1.25 million or something. If you go with regional, it can come down a little bit. So that depends on that. And also you have to have a certain amount of net worth that you have to show, and you have to commit X amount of dollars to bring to the country. So it is possible, but again, the numbers are the main challenge with the business visas is that you have to establish the money trail. You have to establish where you are getting the money from and whether you are skilled businessman or not. So for example, if someone has a lot of money, that alone is not enough. You have to have a bit of a background as well. Yeah.
Okay. Next question is from Mr. Engineer Nayab Bukhari. He says, what are the requirements for 190? RDA skill assessment, IELTS 60, question mark.
Yeah, I think that would have been covered up in the slides that we have done, Nayab. So I think we've already answered that question.
Yeah.
If you still got any queries, please feel free to give me a call.
No worries. I've got a question from Scarier Johnny. Any chance for 189 for telecommunications engineer and electronics engineer at 80 points? Also, what are the chances at 85 points, as I will get 5 more points from Nati in 1 month?
Sorry, I can't see the question.
I can't hear the question either. So
it's directly being sent to me.
Okay.
So I'll repeat the question. What are the chances for 189 for telecommunications engineer and electronics engineer at 80 points? Also, what are the chances at 85, as they will get 5 additional points in 1 month for Nati?
Then, yeah, look, lodge your EOI now, and then you can always update it once you've got 85, because the prospects of success at 85 are much higher for 189 than the prospects at 80 points. So you're definitely on the right track. Good luck with it, and then lodge it now, and then see or try your luck. And if it doesn't happen, then eventually, I mean, in a month's time, you're going to update 5 points for Nati anyway. So go ahead with that.
Okay. Mr. Karma, I live in Melbourne. Can I apply NSW pathway for 491?
I'll let Usman answer that.
Okay. So yes, he can. Then see, the thing is, he has to be either in NSW or offshore. So NSW has this problem; they don't like interstate migration. So that's the tough part. So he has to be here.
All right, thanks, Usman. Go in. Chances for mechanical engineer currently with 80 points in NSW. He will have an additional 5 points after 1 year experience by June.
We already have an invitation in December for similar applicant, but see, the thing is, 80 points is still on the lower side. It's quite on the lower side. So we have to expect you to get to like 85 plus 5. And then, yes, it can work, because mechanical, there's still a lot of mechanical engineers who are still waiting for the invitation. So he has to try to get to 85. Yeah. And by the way, I think I just noted one thing. I just thought I think Kunal will agree as well. Basically, a lot of people are asking for 80 points. 80 points is fine. Like, see, you have 80 points, 75, but it depends on the occupation. If you're a university lecturer, yes, you'll get the invitation. If you are a chef, yes, you'll get the invitation. But if you're talking about high demand occupations, you will get even 65 points, like nurses, social workers, community service, right? But if you're, I'm just telling you the rule of thumb, because a lot of people, I think I'm seeing like a same kind of questions, and a lot of time, if you're an engineer, there are hundreds of engineers, thousands of engineers right now in every state. So obviously the competition is slightly higher, because especially in IT field, it's very easy to reach 90 points these days, right? As long as you're the right age, you have the English score, you have the PT and PY, you are at 90 points. If you're the experience, you get 95 points. So that's why you have to remember, what you reach is one thing, what other reach is also another thing you have to consider. So always look at your competition. You know, you might be getting your best, but then if the other competition is getting higher than you, then obviously you have to get it up. Right?
All right.
So,
I
go
think
ahead.
the list is really long, full of questions. Okay, so we may have to go a little more in speed. For Mr. Naresh, he has sent me a question, but it's about a recycling business. Naresh, I'm not too sure if you're listening to
I'll take this question. I think, Naresh, I have the simple answer for this.
Yeah.
So Naresh, I think I've seen your question. I think you basically, simple thing is, if you're you want to come to Australia, there you can come on a business visa. There is a possibility, but obviously it depends a lot on your net worth and what kind of business you're doing, and if you're running or your son is running. Couple of things you decide, right? That's one thing. And second thing, but for that, I would say you come to us for a consultation, because this is a very detailed conversation. And on top of that, if your son is an Australian citizen, you have a simpler way of coming to Australia. So for example, if you have a business, you have a bit of money, you can apply for a contributory parent visa, $48,000. Within 5 to 6 years, you'll have your PR in your hand. So that's one of the ways to do it. But for that, you need to meet the family balance test, meaning either 50% or majority of your children have to be an Australian citizen or PR holder. Or for example, if your son is the only child of yours, then voila, you can just apply directly, right? So that's how but there are solutions. So there might be easy solutions for you, then go with the business visa. But business visas are very expensive and very time consuming. And even as a migration agent, we have particular migration is working on this. Not everyone works on this. So you have to be very careful what option you're choosing. So choose the easy one, right? Make it simpler for yourself. So anyway, so yeah, let's move further.
Okay, I'm going to take the next question from Shibaj, electrical engineer draft person pathway. What are the chances for NSW 189 and 190, including how many points are required?
So basically, I'll keep it really simple. So basically, electrical engineering draft person, again, the invites are coming at 65, 70 points. So invites are very low, at very low point, because very few people are in front of you, like in terms of competition. So competition low, so invites can come in a very low points. Just like civil engineering draft person, right? Like civil engineers got invited at 85 points, but drafts person got invited at 65 points, right? So it also depends on that. So in your case, the demand is quite solid and supply is very low. So yes, you can get invited at lower points as well. But try to see, when you say how many points, obviously anything above 65 is okay. But then again, the higher you can reach, the quicker you get the invite. That's the general formula.
Okay, rapid fire. Next one. Who is the assessor of university lecturers?
Let us assess.
Next one from Cheryl. Can you consider the sports coach or swimming coach? For that is not a complete question.
For what, Cheryl? What are we talking about here? GSM visas or?
Yeah. Bijoy, for medical laboratory technician, what are the chances?
Very good. We already got the Although even 190 and NSW 190, we already have invited 75 points. So that's happening. So yeah, so just have to get the assessment done and get the ball rolling. Yeah, you can get the invitation.
Kunal, next one's for you. Any chances of getting 190 for Victoria in architecture? Currently at 80 points for visa 190 and 75 for 189. Lived, worked and studied in regional Victoria. No work experience in architecture, working in food and beverage service.
Absolutely. It depends if you've already got the assessment, positive skill assessment, and you're working in the food and beverage service. Again, we need to see that the job duties that you're doing fall in the skill level 1, 2, or 3. And if they do, you're definitely a great contender for 491. Unfortunately, not for 190, right? And the points are a bit low for 190 anyway. 189, I'm not a big fan of 75 for architect. I think you must either improve your points or try to go down the pathway of a 491, and you will definitely receive an invite in no time. Okay, so sometimes people think 491 is worse, but then 491 is not too bad, because within 3 years you tend to become a PR anyway, and time flies away. You wouldn't even realize by then you become already eligible for a PR under 191 subclass.
All right.
Okay.
Next one. Govind, if degree is mechanical engineering and industry is in rail, is it different to lodge application as civil than mechanical?
Govind, what does that mean, my dear? This is a statement or is this a question? Different to lodge application as a civil and mechanical engineering. Yes, civil has definitely got more demand than mechanical engineering, like the way Usman said. So if you've got mechanical engineering and industries in rail, is it different? So, okay, depends what your assessment is under. If you've got the assessment of a mechanical engineer, right, if you want to nominate the occupation of a mechanical engineer, then I would hope for you to have somewhere around 85 to 90 points to get an invite under 189 or even 190. Hope that helps.
Okay. Next question, Mr. Ali Bhayani. My wife completed diploma community services.
Ali,
Yes.
please give me a call.
Kunal's client, so I think Kunal will answer.
Kunal.
Ali, can we please take it offline? It will be unfair to other 70 messages sitting in here. So we speak all the time. Please feel free to give me a call and I'm happy to discuss it with you, okay?
Done. All right. Thanks, Ali. I hope you can just get in touch with Kunal and he can address your questions personally. Bracewell, is online advanced diploma valid?
Bracewell, what do you mean?
So if he has done an advanced diploma, which he has studied online.
Online advanced.
Online, I'm not too sure whether he has studied this on.
It's a very vague question. It could be basically, if I'll just keep it simple, like if they're asking the terms of like they've studied online for a degree which is in Australia while they were in Australia, then yes, it can work. But then again, it's a very wide area. So we have to look at what specific question they have. So so let's move on.
AA to everyone, what is the IELTS requirement for early childhood? I think I can answer this. 788. If you have 3 years qualification in Australia, you are exempt to take admission in this. For your skills assessment later on, 4 years of higher education in Australia will help you get skills assessment without English requirement. Okay, Rizwan, will you send the presentation recording link later? It will be uploaded to our Facebook page. So whoever is not following us, go on to Asia Pacific Group, Melbourne and Sydney page. You can just like. We will be uploading the copy of this recording very soon. Okay, Varsha, we have already addressed. We have Salima.
We've already addressed
this, yeah.
Okay, Fahad Irfan, electrical engineering points for NSW.
Good, electrical engineering. So so basically, I would say at this point, like there's quite a bit of applicants. So I think it will probably around 90, like 90 points you have to reach. Yes.
Okay, Karan Shah.
I think Karan Shah is. I think Jay. He's a common client.
Yes.
So I think he's the same guy. So so the answer is Karan. Yes, you can do it, but it's a different game. Like when you say you can apply for Victoria 190, Valley 190, yes, but then when you apply at that moment you have to be there. So you could study in Sydney fine, get assessment, that's fine. But when you're applying, then obviously you have to be a resident of Victoria and have a job there, right? Kunal, will you agree?
Yes, definitely.
Right. So yeah, so you could be anywhere to study, but once you get the assessment, then you can move there. So not necessarily to move right now. Basically, that's what it means. Yeah.
Okay. Suresh is asking, while applying 189 and 190, should we submit separate EOI for each visa? I believe no.
No need. You
Yeah.
can tick 189 and 190 on the same EOI. So
Yeah.
it's totally up to you. If you want to submit two separate ones, you can, but otherwise on one, you can select both the options.
I'll add one thing. For NSW, you have to have separate 190 EOI.
Oh, there you go.
NSW only. For other states, no, only for NSW. You have to have separate 190 invitation. I have had some clients who missed out on some rounds because they had
Ticked in both.
EOI, yeah. So they didn't realize. They met me. They're like, why? How come your client got it? I didn't get it. So I showed them the data. Like my clients got it. So all they did was untake it and they got their next round.
Yeah.
So they're very helpful. They're very thankful for that. Yeah. So I think that for NSW it does matter. Yeah.
So there you go, guys. Learning curve. If you've got both ticked in your current EOI, please remove either or and just have one if you are based in New South Wales. Okay.
Shlok Singh has sent me a direct message asking, I've got journalism and mass communication. I'm a journalism and mass communication graduate from India. What course has got good scope? Shlok, just send me an email with your resume to sydney@asiapacificgroup.com, sydney@asiapacificgroup.com directly, and I will do the assessment for your application and get back to you via email. Okay, Lavi Dama, what all states accept EOI for 189 and 190 without working or living in that particular state?
Western Australia, as far as I know,
And South Australia as well.
and South Australia. There you go.
But for certain pathways, like in South Australia,
Okay.
if you are going with a high skill pathway, then you have to have a salary of 80,000 above. Let's say you're living in Sydney, for example, or Melbourne, you have to have a salary of high income, let's say 80,000 or above, and you to justify like how are you and considered a highly skilled person, right? So that's something you have to prove to them, and based on that, you can apply while living over here or overseas. That's also possible. So there's a couple of states you can do, like Western Australia, as Kunal said, that's definitely there. But yeah, so these are very few options available, but they are options available. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Kunal, next one's for you from Sri Akela. I have 80 plus 5 points living, working in Melbourne as system analyst. Salary is 70K as per ROI calculator. What are the chances of 190?
Sri, I would have suggested if you got 5 points more, you would have got 189 straight away. But because the only difference in 189 and 190 is the processing times. They have transposed the processing times. Now 189 is finally determined in 3 months, whereas 190 could take 15 to 16 months to be fully determined. But yeah, so for 190, I would expect anywhere up. I think 5 more points will do the job for you, Sri. But then again, lodge your EOI, you never know. If you're lucky, you might get invited. If not, parallelly try to reach your points and then update your points once you've got update your EOI once you have the new points. Okay, good luck with that.
All right, I think we are already going beyond our time limit, which was until 5 o'clock. So we will be taking questions until 5:30. For somebody, if you're unable to take the questions, please don't be disappointed. I've already shared the number multiple times. Please feel free to get in touch with us. Okay, we can book an appointment with the agent, with Usman, if you are in Sydney, with Kunal, if you are in Melbourne. You can book a face-to-face appointment with them or via Zoom phone appointment, whichever way is easier for you. Book an appointment and take that consultation, because honestly, I've got more than 100 questions which are there in front of me, but the time is really limited, so I might not be able to address all the questions. Next question is, as an industrial engineer, Karim is asking, is 65 points enough for 189?
Not really. Not really, Karim, unfortunately not. I expect you to have somewhere around 80 to 85 points, sorry.
Okay, Romy, after EN, which visa can we apply? Is there any chance of not getting PR or EN will be removed from list? A bit confused.
That can be removed anytime. See, you can't really expect all the rest to remain the same, but we go with the history and with the experience. Enrolled nurse has been there for a long time. Okay, if anything, I still remember in 2017, it was only available in South Australia. And in NSW only in 1 RD out of 13. At this point is available across the board. So it has gone up rather than down. So I think you're in a safe hand. So don't need to stress about that basically. So yeah.
Okay, Hussein Ali, hello, I'm studying commercial cookery, but working in aged care as an AIN and having community services certificate as RPL. What would be my pathway?
I'll answer that. Hussein, have you got a positive outcome as a chef or as a cook? If you have, then and having community services certificate RPL. Yes, if you do have.
Actually, I'm studying chef at the moment, and
Okay.
like I'm living in like NSW, regional New South Wales.
NSW. All right, Usman, your question.
Yes. So Hussein, I think let me dissect the actual issue. The issue is based on your profile, it seems like you want to hold on to community service or AIN. So basically, while your title is AIN, while you have RPL, both are not going to help you. Okay, like RPL can only help you with a lot of experience. I don't think you have that much experience. So the best path will be you can stick to commercial cookery, what you're studying probably right now, certificate 3, 4 plus diploma hospitality. So what's going to happen is, as a chef, you can get invited with 65 points for the 189, and even with NSW 190, you can get invited. We already have the invite with 80 points, so that is definitely possible. So the main thing is basically you stick to the main pathway, and that will solve your problem. That's it. You wouldn't need to go to because if you wanted to do community service, you should have studied that. That's long gone now.
Yeah, actually, I've studied the certificate 3 in individual support, like with which is like making me eligible to work at the aged care as AIN, and then I got like the diploma in like community
That's
service,
mine.
and I started for in the disability as RPL.
Yeah.
So,
I understand what you mean. Like I assume that the main thing is when you got a diploma, that's like aged worker. That's the occupation you get, right? Aged worker, there's different hierarchy. So for example, you're dabbling between community service and enrolled nurse, technically, right? That's what you're dabbling in. So ultimately you have to stick to one occupation, and that for you would be what you've studied in. A lot of my clients have done aged care working, diploma, circuit 3s and this and that, but they don't help for multiple reasons. They are, obviously it will too long to explain over here, but multiple reasons they don't work. So that's why we have to keep them for a safe occupation. In your case, out of all these 3 occupations, commercial cookery will be the safest for you. But the good thing is commercial cookery is back in and back in demand. So you can actually get a PR with commercial cookery across the board in Australia. So it's actually, I think you should stick to that path. Yeah.
So so like what do you
Then
like?
I think I'll just let you know, obviously we have to take a lot of questions to keep it really simple, bro. Because if you're going back and forth, that's like a proper consultation. We are happy to do that, but you'll have to come to our office or do a Zoom call, but not because we have to cater to a lot of questions there. All right.
Sure, please share the number. You can give us a call. I can book a consultation with Usman for you.
Yep, no worries. Thank you.
All right. I'm gonna go.
I have one question in front of me. I'll just quickly answer that because I'm trying to cover some questions that I think relevant to me, and then I think Kunal can do the same. So Raj is asking, yes, sir, I have done my skills assessment from Cook, June 2022. Could you please how we can get 189 for NSW? So first of all, Raj, 189 is Australia wide, 190 is from a particular state. So you cannot get 189 from NSW, you can get from anywhere you want. So that's one thing. Now, first thing is you got these are 2 different occupations, cook or chef. Chef is basically the long-term occupation and cook is short-term. So in 190 and the 499, cook and chef are both available, but for the 189, only chef is available, not the cook occupation. Okay, so that's first thing. And secondly, the points are quite low. So if you have already gotten assessment, you've already got working as a chef, so that means you would have 70 points or something, and chefs already got invited for the 189 with 65 points, which I think you can easily reach. Okay, even if you're just 7 each in English, you can get above that. So contact us, we can definitely help you get the PR locked in. Okay, so no problem. So yeah, Jay, you can go further from here.
All right, I've got next question from Swarti Devi. She's asking, do I need to look for employment in Victoria for 491? I'm employed in NSW at the moment. I've done Masters of Commerce from Fiji, currently on a student visa.
Well, if you've already got your outcome as an accountant general, which I believe you might have, and you're wanting to go down the pathway of 491 Victoria, then yes, you must come to Victoria, find an employer in the regional Victoria, live in there, work in there for 4 weeks, and then be eligible to lodge your EOI and ROI under 491 Victoria. Hope that helps.
Okay, Murray is asking, are all the GSM visas who are having an age limit of 45 at the time of lodging the EOI and ROI?
At the time of invite, you should be under 45, not at the time of lodging an EOI, because, I mean, technically, yes. So if you are under 45 at the time of invite, you will be under 45 at the time of EOI as well.
All right, next question. Can I move back to NSW after I get 190 from Victoria?
You've got a contractual obligation under which you'll have to live in Victoria for a period of 2 years before you move over to any other state, Pranav.
And also, Pranav, you are our client. You can contact us directly if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a common client of me and Jayant.
Okay, lovely.
They just want to move. That's right. Usman, next one is for you. Are there any invitations received for cafe managers in NSW? If yes, please share the points.
I can't see in my data. I don't think we have received, maybe some other firm, but we haven't received any. No.
Okay, Salman, any chances for Victoria 190 for electronics engineer with 85 plus 5 offshore?
Are you offshore at the moment? I believe you must be, like the way you've question marked offshore. So if you are offshore, you have high chances. Even if you are onshore, still very high chances. So either or.
Okay. I've got Pinal, she's asking, any chances for getting 189 or 190 for Victoria, ICT business analyst, 85 for 190 and 80 for 189, living and working in Victoria, study also in Victoria, working as business analyst, started in January 2023. And she has applied via live live in Melbourne website, but I haven't received the email for my credentials to log in. I've sent an inquiry, but they have not heard back.
You know, we wouldn't take up that issue. That you'll have to take it up with. Sorry, guys, can I ask you to put yourself on mute? So, any chance of getting 189 and 190 for Victoria? ICT business analyst, 85 for 190. I would suggest improve your points a little, Pinal. See if you can do NATI, or if you can do any other, maybe English you can do better. Try to bring it up by extra 5 points, and then 100% chances of you getting an invite in Victoria under that occupation. With
Yeah,
the other,
thank
with the other,
Yeah.
Sorry, Pinal, with the other question, you'll have to take it up with the Live in Melbourne website. We unfortunately cannot help you because that seems to be a technical glitch or error at their end.
Yeah, it's been a couple of days already that, you know, I sent the inquiry, and they said that it might take 3 to 5 business days, but then it's still more than a week now, and I haven't heard back from them.
With other work, so please, hold on to it, or probably give them another reminder, and I'm sure they'll come back to you with that. We unfortunately are not able to assist you with that.
Not a problem. Thank you.
No problem. Good luck.
Okay, the next question is a big one. For 190 visa under the skill industrial pharmacist, it states that registration is required. However, the skill description says that industrial pharmacists can also be classified as people working in regulatory services and quality assurance. As this field is research and development of medicine, registration is not required. Will a 190 visa be accepted for the industrial pharmacist without registration? I have a positive skill assessment from VetAssess and 90 points in total.
Do you want me to answer that, Usman? Okay.
I don't know the good answer for that.
Yeah, Rebecca, you'll be fine. You will be fine because as long as you've got a positive skill assessment and that falls under, I believe, skill level 1, 2, or 3, you will be okay to lodge your GSM visa. So go ahead with that.
Okay, I've got direct message, Scaria, which is the best place to live onshore to get any 189, 190, 491 faster with telecom engineer and electronics engineer with 80 points. Probably 5 more is coming in 1 month. I think we have addressed this question already, but she's just,
it's a very generic, it's a very
just
open
asking
question.
which state is hot, where she can go and do this.
See, every state is inviting these occupations. The main thing is like, what's your profile like? You know, like if you have an advantage in finding the right job, then Western Australia, South Australia, and Victoria is excellent. But if you think you have decent points, NSW is excellent. So, so you depend on a lot of factors there. That's why we always recommend for such open-ended question. I would say always talk to someone like me or Kunal, who's basically be able to understand you all the little nuances of your case and then be able to give you the simple answer. Yeah. After that. Yeah. Let's move on. Yeah.
I have got a question from Revati. Hi, I have done my master's in BIS in Sydney. How many points do I need to apply for 190? Do I need work experience?
Workspace is not compulsory, but you need, Revati, you would probably need 85 plus 5 points, okay, at least to come through. So 85 plus 5 means 85 of your own, meaning you have to have reach 85, and then yes, it's possible. Then definitely possible. Yeah.
Okay, Ravina is asking, I'll be starting my new grad program as RN this June 2023 in Orange NSW. It will be for 1 year. Is Orange considered as regional NSW? Am I qualified to apply 491? When can I start applying for 491? Can I also apply 190 at the same time?
Okay, so yes, Orange is very much part of the regional areas. That's not an issue at all. But in terms of basically when can you apply, that depends on factor like have you got in the after registration, NMAC registration, assessment, those sort of things or not. That depends ultimately on those things. But if you have the right profile, if you have the registration with after NMAC and you have 65 or above, you can apply directly.
Okay, how many points needed for mechanical engineer in Victoria and NSW for 189 and 190? Lavi is asking.
Yeah, Lavi, 85 for 189 and 90 for 190.
Okay.
In Victoria.
Almost same in NSW, yeah.
Done. Sindhura is asking, I have done masters in civil engineering in Melbourne, got my skill assessment and PT and 7 each. I have done EOI with 70 points Victoria, but struggling to get a job in civil field. Can I get PR for 70 points?
Sindhura, not directly PR, my dear. You'll have to go down the pathway for 491 if you've got 70 points, because then you will get 15 more added to it. So 70 plus 15. Or I don't know if it's 65 plus 15, then you're sitting at high points, and then you can definitely get an invite under 491. And in 3 years living and working in regional Victoria, you will be eligible for, PR under subclass 191. But at these many points, I find it a bit hard, unfortunately. Good luck with that.
Okay.
I think let's just take a few more questions and then we have to call it
Wrap up.
because obviously
One of my clients, Pranav, is also here. He's asking a question. Pranav, give me a call. I cannot answer that question here. I've got Fahal is asking, hi, what are the required points for NSW for electrical engineer?
we already answered this. Yeah.
Yep, okay. 1 second. Saurabh Malik is asking, do you have any plans for seminar for South Australia? Yes, in the coming weeks, we will be conducting the webinar for South Australia. Stay tuned on our Facebook page, both Melbourne, Adelaide, and Sydney. We will be putting all our updates there. You can register yourself through the same channel where you did it today. So yeah, just keep an eye. 1 second. I'm just going to go and pick few questions now because still I have got 100 questions left. 1 second. Okay. Rafiqul is asking, I have done my skill assessment 3 years ago from ACS. Can I renew it again? Yes.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Can you repeat?
Okay, somebody is asking, they have done their skill assessment 3 years ago from ACS. Can they renew it again?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay. Prajwal is asking, I've got invite on December 8th, 189 invite, but my PT was expired. I redid the exam and got the desired score after the invite. Do I lodge the visa or not?
No. Because at the time of invitation, your PT was expired, so we wouldn't recommend that at all.
Okay. Devendra is asking, after getting invitation and having bridging PR visa and active 482, can we switch job on bridging visa? Or not until the PR is granted?
No, so which visa is he on right now?
So he is currently on 482.
Yeah.
If he gets the invitation, lodges his PR, can he switch job? Because technically the visa he will be active on is 482 or cannot.
Yeah, so you can change the job. Job is not a problem. You can change, because see, the only thing is was 482 is that you're allowed to change the jobs, but you have to let the other company take over your sponsorship, which may take 1 month or 6 months, which is like a tough thing to explain because it depends on multiple factors. But generally, if the other company willing to take away sponsorship, then change the job. The 189 and 190 will be run parallel. These are not connected to each other.
I think this question is for both of you, so we can answer first. Is there PR for logistics, NSW or Melbourne?
Kunal, go first.
Well,
I have a simple answer for this, so you go first. Yeah.
yes, there is, as long as you manage to get a positive skill assessment under that occupation.
Yeah. So, and for NSW, there is an occupation called supply chain manager, but for that you need to be a manager, and that's the challenging part because not a lot of people can get assessment as a manager because it's getting done to Institute of Leaders and Managers, and that takes a lot of effort. And not just that, it takes a lot of experience. You need to be at a certain level. So that's where a lot of our clients get stuck. Yeah, they don't have the right experience level.
Strictest skill assessing body.
Yes.
Okay, let's take last question for this evening. Okay, before
it has to be a good one. It has to be a good one.
Okay, it is a good one. Okay, because this will, it's an easy question to be honest, because it has been sent directly to me, so both of you cannot see that. Okay, but before I do that, we do apologize, people, that we cannot take everybody's question. I still have over 100 questions which are left. I do know, but time is always a constraint. It was supposed to be until 5 o'clock. We are already going, 5:35 now. So I have to wrap up this session with our both migration agents. So in case you want to discuss your case, please feel free to get in touch with me or with my team. We have already shared the details. I will be doing it once again. Once I ask the question, I will share the details again. Please give us a call. We are here to help. We can directly get you connected to our migration agents or educational consultants, and you can take up the case face-to-face or in person. All right, last question. When can we expect NSW and Victoria next round?
February and March and April and May. So we are hoping to have the rounds in every month until May of this year. Yeah. So please do lodge your EOIs and ROIs as soon as possible. And you never know, like the way I keep telling all my clients, it's like a lottery. You got to be in it to win it. Even if you think you're sitting at a few points less, lodge your EOI now, you never know. But if in case you don't get an invite, parallelly work on improving your points, but at least have your EOI in the system. All right.
And I'll just add from the NSW side. So like Victoria has, for the last couple of years, has been inviting till the month of May, and usually it's 25th of May for some reason anyways. Yeah. But for NSW, they go as far as June. And if there's some seats remaining, they opened a lottery and the floodgates for everyone. So that's why you have to be very alert. And as Kunal just mentioned, and the best, I think the way to summarize it is you have to be in it to win it. Because a lot of people think that, oh, we will go in when everyone's getting the PR, then we'll get in. You're already late.
Correct.
It doesn't work like that. You have to be there. So you'll only, if your captain is telling you to stand in a particular place in the field, stand there. You can't expect the catch to come first and then you go there. You have to be there to receive the catch, right? So try to follow the rules and be in the queue. That's the important part. And then the rest of the things will follow. All right, so that's very important. So anyways, from my side, guys, thank you so much for being there. Really lovely to host this and be with you guys. Try to answer as much as we could, but obviously time limitation is there. But yeah, so thank you so much and goodbye from my side.
All right. Thank you everyone for peacefully listening to us. You have been a wonderful audience, and I would also like to thank our speakers both from Melbourne and Sydney. Kunal, thank you. Usman, thank you very much. I hope this information which has been shared with all of you is informative. And if you want to discuss your case, I just want to stress on this, please get in touch with us. We can get you connected to our migration agents and educational consultants. I've shared the address, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide. You can give us a call, send us an email, whichever way is easy for you. All right, and we will be coming up with a lot more sessions on different states and different trends, which will be coming in place by department, or if something is coming up in education, I will, or my team will be coming up as well. So feel free to like us on social media, follow us, and you will get all the updates there. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely evening and a nice weekend, probably because we won't be seeing each other on tomorrow. So have a nice weekend as well.
Thank you
We'll
so much.
see you all next time.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
guys.
Thanks.
Thank you very much. Have a good
Awesome.
night. Take care.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem.